When the power goes out and chaos begins, your first instinct might be to gather supplies or check on loved ones. But the number one priority must be securing your home. The first few hours of a disaster are often calm, but that calm is deceptive. As people realize the severity of the situation, no power, no communication, no help, desperation grows, and your home becomes a target, not just a shelter. That's why securing your space immediately is critical, not after panic spreads. Start with doors and windows, the most vulnerable points. Reinforce entryways with deadbolts, security bars, or even furniture if you have to. If you live in a ground, floor home or apartment, block sightlines with curtains, blankets, or blackout film to prevent any inside light from leaking out at night. Darkness equals safety. The less others can see or hear, the less they'll assume you have. If you have a garage, disable automatic openers and manually lock the door from the inside. People often overlook garages, yet they're one of the easiest entry points during a blackout. Ensure all sliding doors are blocked with a rod or wood bar. Don't overlook communication in your lockdown setup. Set a family rule: no one opens the door for anyone without confirmation. If you're alone, make your perimeter known with deterrence. Motion lights, dogs, or even dummy security signs. The goal is to buy time and reduce curiosity. Remember, the first few hours are your best window to prepare while others are still confused. Lock down early, stay quiet, and avoid any unnecessary movement outside. Once your home is secured, you can move on to survival priorities like water, food, and power. But your defense begins at the front door, and hesitation can cost you everything. When the grid fails, access to clean water and hot food becomes a major challenge. Most people underestimate just how quickly things deteriorate without power. Your body needs fuel to think clearly, stay warm, and function under pressure. And in a blackout, that fuel has to come from simple, no-electricity solutions. That's why storing water and having off-grid cooking methods in place is not optional. It's survival. First, focus on water. A family of 4 needs at least 3 gallons per person per day for drinking, cooking, and basic hygiene. That means a bare minimum of 36 gallons to survive a 72-hour lockdown. Store sealed water containers in cool, dark places. You can also use bathtubs with water bladders or fill sinks right when the power goes out to maximize storage. Don't count on taps working for long. Next comes food. Canned goods, freeze. Dried meals, and vacuum. Sealed rations are ideal. They don't need refrigeration and can be prepared quickly. But having food is one thing. Cooking it is another. When the power is out, gas stoves with electric ignitions may not function. Instead, rely on tools like rocket stoves, sterno cans, propane camp burners, or even a solar oven if the weather permits. These are low profile, efficient, and don't rely on your home's utilities. Avoid cooking methods that give off smoke or strong smells if you're in an urban or suburban area. In the early stages of a blackout, these can attract the wrong attention. Quiet, clean, burning fuel is safer. If you live in a rural area, outdoor cooking is more viable, but keep it controlled and out of plain sight. Preparing food and water without power isn't about luxury. It's about maintaining strength and morale. If your body breaks down, your mind will follow. Feed wisely, plan smart, and ration only when absolutely necessary. In a total blackout, visibility becomes your enemy. Light, noise, and even the smell of cooked food can reveal your location and signal to outsiders that you're prepared, making you a target. That's why the most successful survival strategy in the first 72 hours is to become invisible. Staying off the radar isn't paranoia, it's smart defense. In the chaos that follows a grid failure, those who appear to have resources often become victims of desperation, fueled attention. Begin with light discipline. After sunset, Block all windows with thick blankets, trash bags, or blackout curtains. Even a single candle's glow can be seen from a distance in a darkened neighborhood. Use low output lighting like LED puck lights, red, filtered headlamps, or glow sticks inside enclosed spaces. Light should never escape your home. If you must move between rooms at night, cover flashlights with paper or fabric to diffuse the beam. Noise discipline is next. Keep conversations low and avoid playing music or using radios near open windows. If you have children, prepare silent activities ahead of time. Books, cards, puzzles. Anything that keeps them engaged without generating noise. Don't let the quiet outside fool you. People can hear even minor sounds in total darkness, especially when tensions are high. Lastly, reduce the smells coming from your home. Cooking strong, smelling meals like bacon, spices, or soup can draw attention fast. Instead, opt for low odor ready to eat items or foods you can heat quickly and eat cold if needed. Think of your home as a submarine submerged in dangerous waters. Silence is your stealth. Darkness is your shield. The fewer signals you send to the outside world, the safer your first 72 hours will be. Stay low, stay dark, stay unnoticeable. Visibility can wait. Right now, invisibility is survival. The first 72 hours of a blackout are mentally brutal. You're cut off from the world, surrounded by uncertainty, and constantly calculating your next move. In that kind of silence, fear can grow louder than any noise outside. That's why maintaining mental clarity and emotional control isn't just helpful, it's absolutely vital. Your mind is your most important survival tool, and if it fractures under pressure, even the best supplies and strategies can collapse with it. Start by establishing a routine. Even if everything around you is chaos, create order in your home. Set wake-up and sleep times, schedule meals, and designate daily tasks like checking supplies, preparing water, or doing security sweeps. This structure gives your mind something to anchor to and prevents the drift into panic or helplessness. Limit exposure to rumors or unverified information, especially if you have access to radio or emergency broadcasts. False reports can spike anxiety and push you to make rash decisions. Instead, stay focused on what you can control within your four walls. If you're with family or a group, morale becomes contagious. Good or bad, speak calmly, be honest but reassuring, and involve everyone in small responsibilities. People feel safer when they feel useful. If you're alone, don't isolate emotionally. Write in a notebook, speak out loud to organize your thoughts, or pray if that brings you peace. These practices keep the mind sharp and the spirit steady. Lastly, accept fear but don't feed it. Everyone feels it in crisis. The key is acting in spite of it, not being ruled by it. Prepare your supplies, but more importantly, prepare your mindset, because once your mind breaks, survival becomes a losing game. Stay calm, stay focused, and remember, mental strength is what separates the survivors from the statistics. When the power goes out, communication is often the first thing to disappear, and that silence can be deadly. Most people don't realize how much they rely on cell towers, internet, and television until all of it goes dark. In a true blackout event, staying informed and connected to the outside world becomes a lifeline, not a luxury. That's why having off-grid communication options is a critical part of any 72-hour home lockdown plan. Start with emergency radios, a hand, crank, or battery powered NOAA weather radio can keep you updated on government alerts, weather threats, or evacuation orders. Choose a model with AM/FM and shortwave bands for broader coverage. This device alone can be the difference between staying safe and walking blindly into danger. Next, consider walkie-talkies or GMRS/FRS radios for local communication. If you have neighbors, family in nearby homes, or a trusted survival group, these tools allow real-time updates without relying on cellular networks. Make sure you test them ahead of time, label channels, and agree on basic communication protocols. In a blackout, confusion spreads fast, clarity keeps people calm. For those more advanced, HAM radios offer wide-reaching capabilities to contact others across towns or even states, depending on your setup and license. In a prolonged grid failure, HAM operators often become the heartbeat of communication. Finally, write down emergency contacts, addresses, and routes. Store this information in waterproof bags or laminated sheets. When tech fails, pen and paper prevail. Communication in a blackout isn't just about information, it's about psychological stability. Hearing another voice, getting an update, or knowing you're not alone can turn panic into purpose. Don't let the silence trap you. Prepare your communication tools like you prepare food or water, because in a blackout, being informed is being armed. Securing your home in the first 72 hours of a blackout is not about paranoia. It's about staying ahead of desperation. When the power goes out and uncertainty rises, people's behavior changes, resources become scarce, and your once safe neighborhood can feel unfamiliar overnight. That's why one of the biggest priorities during a home lockdown is physical security. Not just locks and doors, but creating a presence that says, this house is not an easy target. Start with entry points. Reinforce doors with security bars or barricades from the inside. Use dowels or metal rods to prevent sliding windows from opening. If you haven't already, install deadbolts and consider battery-operated alarms or door sensors. Even simple noise deterrents like hanging bells or tripwires with cans can give you warning if someone tries to break in. At night, avoid using lights near windows. Darkness is your advantage. Don't lose it by lighting yourself up like a beacon. Use blackout curtains or heavy blankets to block all light leaks. Next, create the illusion of awareness. Place boots outside the door, leave tools in visible areas, and rotate lights or sound using solar or battery-powered devices to suggest movement. If people believe a house is active and alert, they're more likely to move on. If you have cameras or solar motion lights, position them visibly. Even if they're non-functional, perception is powerful. In crisis, people target the weak. Don't look weak. Lastly, stay alert. Rotate night watches if you're with family. Listen for movement, trust your instincts, and most importantly, have a plan in place for what to do if someone tries to force their way in. You don't have to be aggressive, you just have to be ready. In those first 72 hours, your home is your castle. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it might.